What's going on, y'all? Sean, the Back to Basics Fitness here, and I just want to ask you: are you still doing any of these 7 unhealthy habits in your day-to-day life? Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, and let's get on into it. Number 1: are you warming up food in plastic containers still? And in conjunction to this, are you um, drinking water from plastic bottles and reusing those bottles? If so, I think it's time to stop. Here's the thing. In the case you didn't know, warming up food in plastic containers, or even, for example, getting styrofoam plates, putting hot food on them or warming them up in the microwave, they shrink and then, or they get kind of rough where the hot food was, which means that plastic has gone into your food. It's not good. Plastic is not meant for human consumption. Plastic is some sort of chemical compound that is used to for the container, but like inside of us it's not supposed to be that way. Now here's the thing. I actually was listening to a podcast here recently, Huberman Lab podcast, and it's talking about microplastics. And the truth is that microplastics are present in all of our bodies. They're probably present in all animal bodies as well, because around the 1950s, when plastic really started to become like a thing that was produced, this new thing called plastic and whatnot, then, these factories are putting all these plastic chemicals into the atmosphere. Then you have plastic being used, again, like I say, to warm up food, to put this in and put that in particular, when plastic gets hot and it leaches into like some of the things that we consume, that's when it gets really problematic. But we still all have plastics inside of us to a degree by other means. So this is really a matter of minimizing your plastic exposure. Now, studies are still being done to see how detrimental plastics are to our bodies, but there has been associated hormonal, like negative hormonal effects, like xenoestrogens that kind of mimic estrogens, that our bodies contain, that can be very problematic. These can affect reproductive health, and apparently plastics have also been found in newborn babies. So they're inside of mom and they still can have plastics on the inside of their body, these microplastics. So the bad effects are still being studied, but there are some for sure. And so minimize your plastic exposure. Don't warm stuff up in plastic. And if you must drink water out of a plastic bottle, which I do occasionally, don't reuse that bottle. Don't do it. I used to, and thankfully I don't do that anymore. And I'm asking you, don't do it as well. Number 2, are you still avoiding all sunlight? Now, typically people avoid sunlight for one or two reasons. Either one, they are, trying to avoid, like skin cancer or skin wrinkles and damage and stuff like that. And or number 2, they want their skin complexion to be a certain way. And I'll go ahead and address number 2 first, because that kind of hits close to home. As a black person, we used to, people used to say, man, I ain't trying to get no blacker, I ain't going to be out in the sun like this. But the thing to understand is there's nothing wrong with your skin. There's nothing wrong with your skin even getting darker. That's good. People used to make us feel a certain way, but all that stuff is silly. You're beautiful. Your skin looks great. You need to go out there and get you some sun. And matter of fact, your pigment helps to protect you from the bad effects of the sun. Now, let's address the first thing, which is a fear of like skin damage that can lead to like cancer and wrinkles and stuff like that. So that is a real thing. However, what I have heard, and I can't remember exactly where from, so you do your research, but what I've heard is that actually can be possibly because of the fact that we have diets that are so nutrient deficient. The diet that has very high levels of nutrients helps you to kind of prevent or kind of like bypass a lot of the negative effects of direct sunlight while receiving a lot of the good effects, namely the main one that we know about, which is how sunlight helps you to synthesize vitamin D, a very, very important nutrient for immune health, very important for your bones, very important for your overall cellular health. You need vitamin D, and matter of fact, sunlight is the main source of vitamin D, more so than any food. And typically, if it's in food, they've probably added it. Like milk, they've probably added it to that. But we won't even get into milk. All right, number 3. Are you still sleeping with a device close by your body? When I say a device, I mean like a phone or something like that. Now, one thing I learned in engineering school, because this is kind of like what my specialty was in, devices give off EMF, which is electromagnetic frequency. These frequencies are what are used to kind of send signals from our phones to other phones, or from our phones to cell towers, and all that kind of good stuff. And it includes even stuff like Bluetooth, and it includes like GPS, all these kind of things. EMF is like sound in that both are energy waves. However, EMF is a much higher frequency. And with higher frequencies, you have to really understand that these things are flowing through your body. And over time, especially with very close proximity exposure, it's not that good of a thing. Okay. So you have to try to minimize your exposure. Now, that's why one thing I've heard a lot of young people do is they'll sleep with their phones under their heads. Don't do that. Don't put it on your head. Try not to put it in your pocket. And then whenever you're sleeping, don't put it on your nightstand. Like what I typically do is put it in an adjacent bathroom close, close to in my room, in my bedroom, but it's still maybe about 3 yards away. And the cool thing about EMF is with distance, the amount of energy that you're exposed to, it decreases dramatically, even with a small amount of distance. So like the further away you can put it, the better. All right, number 4, are you still looking at your device late at night? Okay. Now, this is something I'm working on to some degree. And typically what I try to do is I try to minimize how much I look at stuff at night. And I use blue light glasses to filter out some of the blue light. But why is this an issue? It's an issue because your body uses light to determine what time of day it is. And so if we didn't have all of our devices and our lights and stuff, then we would go, along with the sun like all the other animals do. But, we're humans. And so we kind of invented incandescent light bulbs and all these other kind of sources of light. And then these days, devices. And so we can keep ourselves up. But the problem with that is you get on your device and you try to go to sleep and you're not able to go to sleep as quickly. You're not able to go to sleep as deeply. And sleep is incredibly, incredibly important for your health. It's not trivial. So it's not really good if you're getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. Even me, like I tend to average maybe 6.5, sometimes 7.5, but 6.5 more often than I need to. That's not enough. So we really need to be getting deep sleep, kind of edging more closely to 8 hours of sleep if we can help it. Okay. So whatever you can do to maximize good sleep, you need to do that. That'll include not looking at your device at night. Okay. All right. Number 5, avoiding vegetables. Are you still complaining about eating vegetables? Look, you need them. You need them. One thing I say is, as a Christian, reading the Bible, if you look in the Bible, the very first food that God gave mankind was plants. It was the fruits and the vegetables. And then it's not until several chapters later when God says, okay, eat meat as well. Okay. And so again, the thing is that is like our main vitamin and mineral source. While you get some important nutrients through meat and animal products and whatnot, you get most of the vitamin and mineral spectrum, and even other vitamins and minerals that people have yet to really categorize, called phytonutrients. You get most of that through plant foods. So you need to be eating your vegetables. The thing to always understand and never forget about eating is that eating is primarily for nutrition. That means supplying your body with what it needs to run and to run well. Unfortunately, we've largely reduced eating to entertainment, honestly. And so we're just eating stuff. We feel hungry and we eat stuff. When you feel hungry, your body's trying to tell you that it needs specific things. But we're just used to kind of throwing stuff in there. It might be, microwave dinners, fast food, candy bars, soda, all this kind of stuff that has no nutritive value. And we're used to doing this all the while we're decreasing our health over time. This is one of the main reasons why we deal with disease. Very practical. And I'm not just talking about like high blood pressure. I'm talking about all disease. Because you also have to consider that being highly um, supplied with nutrition helps to prevent, it helps to kind of bolster you against disease as well. All right, number 6, are you still not drinking your water? Are you still not drinking water? Are you still hoping that when you drink soda and all that stuff, well, it's liquid, so maybe that counts? So it doesn't really count for much of anything, especially when you consider the fact that they have all this sugar and all these additives, colorings, and whatnot in them. Okay. And then the thing is, very likely, sugary beverages are increasing your thirst because it's such a burst of sugar. It floods your bloodstream with sugar or with glucose, and so then your body has to try to compensate with insulin and whatnot. But saying that, all that to say, sometimes your body will make you more thirsty to try to help you to deal with all that sugar in your bloodstream, because sugar in your bloodstream is actually very bad. Okay. And then also, if you're drinking coffee and stuff all day, that definitely doesn't count, because coffee and beverages like it, other caffeinated beverages, are diuretics, which means they pull water from the body. So those definitely don't count for water. You just need to drink water. Get you a good quality water. I typically get filtered water from my refrigerator, which we do change the filter. Drink your water, man, and make sure you drink enough of it. Okay. And then finally, number 7, are you still using supplements as like a last resort, like a health insurance? And when I say health insurance, I'm not talking about for those of you who eat well. I'm talking about those of you who eat burgers and fries all the time, burgers, fries, milkshakes, and candy bars. And then you try to take a vitamin mineral supplement and think that you're good. You're not good for 2 reasons. Number 1, think about it this way. If you have a 50-gallon barrel and then you take this and then you pour that in there because you need to fill the barrel with water. Okay, you put a little water in there, but if you really envision a 50-gallon barrel, that's still virtually nothing. Okay? So supplements cannot possibly fill the void that fruits and vegetables will, whenever you eat properly. The second thing with supplements is that supplements don't contain the full spectrum of minerals and vitamins that you need. Now, I know it's a long list of vitamins and minerals. I know it is. But you may have heard me mention the word phytonutrients. There are lots of nutrients and things in plant foods that they haven't really categorized them yet, because they don't really know how to categorize them, how to name them or anything. So it's tons of those in there. This is the way that God created this stuff. Like, all these things are in the natural foods he created, the way that he created them. And so you have to understand that some supplement is not going to contain that full spectrum. You really need to use a supplement as a supplement to a healthy diet. Okay. All right. Let me know if any of these 7 things, 7 unhealthy habits, spoke to you in the comments. Make sure you share it with somebody. Hopefully it inspired you, and I hope you have a good one. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today. If you like this content, you might also be interested in one of my books. Learn how you can take steps literally today to successfully manage, control, and overcome common issues such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and belly fat. It's all about putting power back in your hands to improve your own health. Get your book copy today by the links in the description or by visiting SeanMcLennan.com/books. Also, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe and join my email list at seanmcclendon.com/subscribe.